Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, what you're looking at is a tin litho consist, all made out of stuff I picked up on eBay. It was missing wheels, as you can probably see on this one. It's got dark wheels, it's got silver wheels. So anything that was missing, I just replaced. If they match, they match. If they don't, oh well. The important thing is the fact that they roll. Now, this is an original lumber car, and as you see, it has tilt connectors. Now, tilt worked perfectly with tab and slot. Unfortunately, on this end, the tilt coupler was broken completely off. So I want to show you a really simple way to repair these so you can use it with a tab and slot connector. And so what I did is, let me pull this apart. Of course, it's going to fight me. All right, so I'll get this close enough so you can see it. There we go. Focus. I guess that's as focused as it's going to get. Anyway, so what I did was the coupler was broken completely off, as you see. So what I did was I drilled a hole in it and put a wire tie through the hole, and then put another wire tie through the wire tie, so it actually forms a slot. If you can see this, let's see if I can get a better focus on this. And it doesn't want to focus that close, I guess. Anyway, you can see the basic idea of how to do this. Drill a hole, put a wire tie through it, and then put a wire tie through the wire tie, as you see. And the nice thing about doing this, of course, is you can then take a tab and slot and slide it down into that loop you've made, and you can start running this with that wire tie. Let's see here. There we go. And you can see that it works. And just make sure that it's pushed down good and snug, and you can put it back on your consist, and you have repaired the coupler. It's no longer a tab and slot or tilt, but it works, and that's the important thing. I don't know why this isn't focusing. I'm shooting this with my cell phone, of course, and it's a really simple way to repair an otherwise useless car, unless you want to drill out the rivet, pull the truck off, and replace that tilt connector, which I didn't want to do. I'm always looking for simple ways and workarounds. And this was really simple. You just drill a hole, put a wire tie through it, and then put a wire tie through that wire tie, and form a loop, and the tab and slot will fit down in there perfectly, and you have repaired the car. And it's not perfect, but when it's actually on the rail and running, no one is going to know that that has ever been broken. It works, it stays coupled. I've never had one uncouple, and it's a really, really simple way to be able to take some real junky stuff that doesn't work, that's broken, and you can get it cheap when it's broken, and then a slight modification. And this is really simple. I mean, this is some really basic stuff. But the nice thing about it is that it's quick and it doesn't cost anything, and you don't have to dismantle the car. You don't have to drill out the rivet, put the new tilt coupler on it, reassemble it with a screw, put it back together. It's just a really simple way to do this. And it only takes a couple of minutes. The hardest part was just drilling the hole. And then, like I said, drill a hole, put a wire tie through it, and then put a wire tie through that, get everything snug, and a tab and slot will fit down into that loop you made, and then pull it tight so it's a good snug fit. Trim off the ends and you're up and running. It works really, really well, and it is really simple to do this. The best thing about it, of course, is the fact that it works. And so you can take a broken car, and that's what I look for on eBay, is anything that's broken, especially with a broken coupler. A broken coupler will reduce the cost of these things to almost nothing. You can get things really, really cheap if they are broken. If the coupler is broken or if they're missing wheels, really, really simple to pick these things up cheap. Very few people know how to do this or even want to do it. But if you're doing this on a budget, you want to do it cheap, and you want to find a way that not only is easy, but it works. And this is a really, really simple way to do this. And it'll now couple with any tab and slot coupler. So a simple way to do it, and the nice thing about it, of course, is that you can move it around into some other part of the consist and just put another tab and slot in there, and you can put it anywhere you want to put it in the consist. Heaviest cars I always put up front, and this is one of the heaviest ones. It's got 8-wheel trucks, fairly substantial, and it has a load on it. And it's just 4 pieces of wood glued together, and then a couple of pieces of wire to hold them in place. But it looks authentic, it looks original. It's really easy to do this. It's simple, it only takes a minute, and you can pick up these wire ties. You get an entire package of them for a couple of bucks. And you can do a lot of stuff this way. And like I said, all of these, let me pull the camera off the tripod. All of these cars, as you see, have mismatched wheels. Virtually all of them. Some of them are new wheels, some of them are old wheels. Some of them match, some of them don't. I'm not really concerned about that. The important thing is the fact is that they roll and it gets you up and running. Now this one has the front wheels are the original, the back wheels are a replacement off of plastic Marx cars. It uses exactly the same wheel and axle. Sorry this is so jumpy, I'm doing this with my cell phone. Anyway, I just want to do a quick video on this. It's a really, really simple way to do an easy repair that allows you to get this thing back on the consist and running without having to do any kind of major repair to it. This is 2 wire ties and a hole I drilled in it. Really, really simple to do this. And the fact that it works. And you can upgrade it if you want to, but why bother? This is never going to wear out. It's always going to work. It looks good, and from a foot away, no one would ever know that was broken. The most important thing, of course, is the fact that that tab fits in there like it was made for it. It's never going to come uncoupled. You're never going to break it. And it looks nice. So it's a really simple way to repair a broken tilt coupler that will allow you to couple it with tab and slot. And this was an old original car, and I wanted to use it on the tin litho layout. I mean, this is all original stuff that I picked up from eBay. This is that one I made the other day, but the tankers, some of them look new, some of them don't. And like I said, these were all junk from eBay. Some of them were bent, some of them were missing some of the wheels, some of them were missing all of the wheels, some of them were missing couplers. And it's like this Union Pacific 3824. If you notice, it has a coupler on both ends. And so I just took another car that had a really bad body on it, pulled the body off, stuck this body on it, and it gives you a caboose with a coupler on both ends, which is something that Marx did not supply. And it's a really, really simple way to modify these things at a real bargain price. You know, it basically just takes you however amount of time you want to put into this. It's a simple, simple way to do it. You can replace the wheels, you can replace the bodies. This one I made out of this was originally an 8-wheel tender, and I just mounted it on a 4-wheel chassis. It fit perfect, it looks nice, it runs well, That's the nice thing about it. The rest of these were missing basically wheels. Yeah, a couple of them were missing couplers. But it's really, really simple to modify these old, original tin litho cars. And when they're broken, you can get them cheap, just a few dollars a piece. Especially if they're missing the wheels. You can get them for almost nothing. And you can get a supply of wheels simply by pulling the wheels off of Marx plastic cars. It's exactly the same axle, it's exactly the same wheel. And like I said, some of them match, some of them don't. The thing is, they roll, and they're still original because you used Marx parts to do it. So most of the stuff, like I said, was just junk from eBay, which just reinforces everything I said. Don't overlook the junk. If you can get one of these things for $2 and fix it for nothing and get it up on, or get it on the consist and get it up and running, it's definitely worth your time, and that's going to last forever. It looks nice. No one would ever know it was broken. It'll work with any tab and slot, and it's a really, really simple way to assemble a train or a consist of original Marx tin litho for almost nothing. You know, this stuff was just junk, literally. All of it was just junk. And all of it was missing something. Some of it was bent, some of it was missing wheels, some of it was missing couplers. But with a little bit of luck, and if you have the parts, you can fix almost anything you can find. And that's one thing I always stress is, if you're looking on eBay and you see an engine cheap, or if you see a car that's cheap, buy it. And even if you can't fix it, you can use those parts to fix something else. And it doesn't take long before you have a stockpile of parts of all kinds of things. Wheels, axles, connectors, couplers, bodies, all kinds of stuff. And you can mix and match them, put them together, and assemble something that's really, really nice. Nice thing about it, of course, is this is completely original. You know, you're looking at a consist that is 70, 75 years old. Some of it older than that. And I've got a literal box of junk tin litho. You know, like I said, bits and pieces. Things that I picked up really cheap because they were missing wheels, they were missing connectors or couplers, they were missing something. There was something wrong with all of them. And of course, some of them are just in plain terrible condition. But you can see that it only would take a minute to replace missing wheels like I did on this one. It's got two fairly new wheels off of a plastic car, and it's got the original wheels on the other side. The thing is, you can do this on a real budget, especially once you have a stockpile of parts to work from. And you can use the bodies, you can use the chassis, you can mix and match, you can put things together. It's really, really simple to do this once you have the parts. So for months, I bought nothing but junk parts that didn't work. And then slowly, I would take them apart and start transferring parts from one to the other, changing bodies, adding wheels, putting on couplers, lots and lots and lots of ways to get these things running. So like I said, once you have some parts, you can begin really, really assembling some decent stuff out of genuine junk. And so an old Marx 99 that was $10, a fairly decent original tender, and then virtually everything else on this was missing something. This one was missing wheels, as you can see. Some of them were missing couplers. Some of them were really, really bent. Some of them were really, really rusty, and you clean them up as best you can. And it's like these tankers. There are a few that are like new, and there are a few that aren't. The important thing is, of course, is they're all original, and they're all running, and the important part is they were really, really cheap. So as I always stress, don't overlook the junk. And if you want to get into running model trains and you want to do it on a budget, this is the way to do it. Buy stuff that is incomplete or broken and fix it. And once you have enough wheels and couplers and bodies and things like that, you can fix almost anything you can find, and usually just in a matter of minutes. And you can assemble an original 70-year-old Marx tin litho consist for almost nothing. So it's a lot of fun. It's really gratifying to come in here, turn this on, watch it running, and know that it was nothing but a bunch of junk that nobody else wanted, and they sold it cheap. And once you have some parts, a little bit of know-how, and you're willing to spend the time, you can put together some really decent stuff at a really decent price. So I just wanted to do a quick video, mostly on a really simple way to fix that broken coupler. It works. It works perfectly. It costs nothing. A few minutes of your time. It's up and running. It's on the consist, running well. So I just wanted to do a video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.